This is a spiritual bond that we have.
They figured it out. Thank goodness. I'm so passionate about this.
This is something that really connects you spiritually. Yo, welcome back to God Meets Therapy. I'm your host, JP Speaks. You know, I speak on it, and it's my beautiful wife,
Dr. Io.
Yes, sir. Guys, we got another hot topic today, guys. This isn't like last time. We're going to really dig into this thing, guys.
Right.
Today's why traditional therapy isn't enough.
Ooh, you're going to step on some toes with that.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you see, that's the whole thing about this. You need both of these.
That's
you
right.
need God and therapy, which is
right.
God and therapy.
That's right. That's why it's both. It's not just one with us. But so when you say traditional therapy isn't enough, what does that mean?
So it's just traditional therapy is sitting in that little box, in that little chair, and
don't
having
call
a conversation.
It
could be a big comfortable chair.
That's right.
And really digging into who you are and what happened to your mom or dad, or what happened to you when you were a kid, and figure out the cognitive behavioral techniques to kind of dig into who you really are.
That's right.
It's the CBT for the short term.
That's right. And I think.
Well, you're the therapy.
No,
so you tell me what it is.
I just want to know why it's not enough. I mean, I get like the concept. So let's say you're not a spiritual person. You know, do you think traditional therapy is enough if you are not a faith-based or God-based person? Or do we think it's not enough if you are a faith-based spiritual person, bringing those together? So are we just saying it's not enough in general for anybody, or just if you happen to be one of the types of folks that walk with that journey?
You know what I feel like is that therapy has a lot of great aspects. It's amazing. It can definitely fix the car. It's going to put the engine together, but you need the oil. You need the spirit to make the thing work. You can't put the Hemi in the Hemi if it ain't no Hemi, or, I
don't know what that is, but it sounds like you need it. I sound like I need a Hemi. I definitely need oil.
You definitely need oil. If you ain't got that oil, ain't gonna,
you had me there.
It's gonna drive, but you ain't gonna kick up that horsepower you need to kick in. It's gonna work. It's gonna be functional.
No, I feel like I don't need the Hemi. Is it just gonna make the car loud? I'm confused.
Who want to just drive it though? Don't nobody want to just drive it.
That's me. I just A to B. Miss Daisy, like, just get me there. But it sounds like it's the icing on the cake of the life, like with the faith based together.
Yeah, and I do understand. I mean, I get it. Like therapy, you do need that aspect of it because we need some of these techniques. We need to understand. We need a curriculum and someone to help guide us in these areas. You can't just go to church and expect that's what. You can't just go to your pastor. You can't just figure it out spiritually. I know where I am.
That's right.
Actually, that meditation is kind of deep.
That
definitely helps a lot.
Listen,
that got me in line. So
I'm recently converted. Not a Christian. I've been a Christian all my life, but I'm converted into meditation lifestyle. I was not a meditator. I'm just gonna confess. I thought it was baloney and a little weird. And I know, I'm sorry. Sorry. I know I'm a lot of people, but I sat there and I wasn't feeling it. I was just like
you started drooling a little bit and fell asleep.
I never fall asleep. I'm like an overthinker. Like I'm sitting there, I'm not even paying attention. Like I couldn't quiet my mind. So I do think meditation itself is also a tool and a technique on the spiritual side. You have to learn. You can't just throw yourself in there either. Like I was a beginner, I think, doing expert Olympic meditation.
So Io had been working on she's been working on trying to get something for 2 years, stressing and angry and just like trying to put all her into something. It wasn't until she got grounded.
That's right.
We meditated together.
Together.
It was hard. But things manifested and it was like, 100%. Oh my gosh, she got exactly what she wants. It's so interesting when you use the power inside of yourself and with God and things happen. Yeah. So, I mean, like that's what I learned after that crash, the meditation, God connecting, it actually helped.
Yeah. And I think meditating on some of God's word and some of the principles and spiritual and foundation took meditation to the next level for me. I wasn't just like a person, but like when I meditated on like Bible verses or things I had heard in church or my actual visualizations or things I wanted to manifest, that's when I was able to get it together. But
right, when I brought them candles out, she's like, what are you doing with the candles?
I was like,
why you got candles
what is about to happen here?
What is going on?
I was like, are we getting freaky? Like, what? You said we was meditating.
But
be honest.
It definitely helps. I mean, it's like when you can get down to the brass roots of who you are, and what's going on inside of your body, and you can get that equilibrium and enlightenment and contact with God or contact with what is gonna make you move forward, then you understand that you kind of need these aspects. So once you do the deep, I thought it was weird too, but once you do the deep dive, and you get the clarity, you get the uploads or downloads from God, and the clarity, it's like, oh, I've been working on this for so long.
That's right.
And then it just popped, just like the thing that you were.
That's right.
We'll have to tell you guys about that later. But the thing that she was working on that she got, and it's big too. It's huge.
It's major.
It's a major blessing. So
I will admit, since we've delved more into, since the accident and us delving more into the spiritual and tapping in and really just hammering in and zoning in, we have seen a lot of things happen. And I'll admit, I've seen like miracles in action. I'm like, this is wild. Like it has been weird though. You have seen some, I mean, it's kind of in stuff, it's so many, it's like coincidence. It's gotta be a confirmation. How many coincidences do you need to have a confirmation? That's right. But I do, and we have been in, we've each, had different therapeutic experiences, but, that piece was always there. We've generally had a couple therapists. We took some years off, but I do think the bringing in that spiritual healing and the spiritual centering and the alignment has just turned it up to the next
level. So you think therapy doesn't necessarily bring in that aspect? I mean, you can really, don't get me wrong, you can dig deep in therapy.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes you can dig into what's in your past and what's pushing you to move forward and why things aren't working right. But what else can you say about why therapy isn't necessary enough? It's kind of hard for you to say.
I know. It is hard for me to say.
Because you are the therapy.
I'm the therapy and God meets therapy. Meet me here. But I think what we're saying is God or faith or spirituality. I think some people have not figured out what drives them or what's their center. And it's almost like they have no center of gravity. And they're just either following the crowd or following a trend or doing what someone when they were a kid told them they should do. Even with professions, they're just doing stuff. And they have no center. They have no purpose. They have no understanding of what wakes them up. They have no why.
And I love that. It's like you can fix the car, but it still ain't driving like you want to.
The cars.
It's like you can fix the person, but it's like you can fix all these aspects, but you're still going to have a feeling inside like, like, what is my purpose?
That's right.
Where am I going? Who am I really?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, another part where therapy can't really help you. I mean, put you on the direction to seek that. Right. But I feel like with God is where you become centered, where you find out who the direction, where you're going, what your purpose is. Yep. And a lot of people still question what that really is.
That's
but
right.
it takes some time. And them 5 a.m., 6 a.m. downloads when the sun's still up. Like, why am I up right now?
Why are you up?
Why am I up?
Don't be waking me up, because don't do that, because everybody, you need your sleep. That's another thing. But I think that the key is whatever your spiritual belief or like whatever you believe in or whatever you kind of wake up to fuel your life. Now I'm doing fuel and gasoline. Oh my God, you got car stuff in my head. But whatever that is, for me and us and our family, that is God. And we feel like that's the center of everything, and that's where it always comes back to. Like if I ever get too far left or right and I feel scattered or whatever, like God brings me back.
But I feel like there's other parts when therapy doesn't work. It's like when you got when somebody who doesn't actually like a doctor gives you a prescription. You have to take the prescription so it works. If you don't take it, it can't work.
That's true.
Or you were not aligned with the person who can kind of understand who you are, or you guys aren't connecting, or you just don't feel comfortable opening up. Therapy can't work. I feel like with God, if you don't want to connect, it's on you. I mean, it might take a little time. You might feel like you're in the dark by yourself, but you ain't never alone. Somebody in there with you.
You got a problem with God, you got a problem with yourself.
Pretty much. You got some work to do. You got some work to do.
But I'm going to go left for a minute. People don't understand therapy can be like dating. Like your first therapist might not be your therapist. Keep trying. Therapists are people. Maybe that therapist is not your person, you know? So I think people go to one therapist, one session. I ain't like it. I ain't like him. I ain't like her. I'm not feeling it. Therapy is dumb. I'm like, wait, you haven't even done therapy. You did like an initial assessment. How can you say therapy's not working? So I think that's an important concept. I just want to get out there. Like you have to find a therapist that works for you. You have to find, you know, a therapy-based practice that works for you. Like you heard him bring up CBT. Some people do psychoanalysis. Some people just do behavioral therapy, applied behavior therapy, right? So like some people don't even want to dig into the why or the wake or go in the past. They're just like, what now? I just want to go forward. Some people want to do coaching, right? Like I don't even want to really dig into the aspects of me and my personal. I want to kind of just functionally focus on my goals.
Like therapy can be fun if you allow it to. I mean, it can definitely open up the world. I mean, there's stories where like, you know, I had a buddy who went to therapy and just became a whole new person. He's laughing, he's joking.
Yes.
He's like, oh, you didn't have too much therapy. No more therapy for you. We have to cut you back. I like the old you.
What?
You know,
what you mean?
He was a grouch, but everybody loved because he was a grouch. Now he's a new person. It's like,
that's right.
He's annoying. He was quirky. No, nobody wanted the quirky one. It was like, go back to the...
What? Don't be setting people back.
No. You definitely need to go.
But that's an important point, too. People are going to expect you to be the person you were. And as you move forward and progress, everybody can't come with you because people want you to be grouchy and you don't grouch no more.
That's fact. Even when you do this there, when you take care of this stuff and you get to the bag... You can't take everybody with you. I mean, and it's so sad that you can, but people don't move like you do. And then people are going to treat you different and act like you doing something different just because you want to better their life. Then, you know, misery loves company. So rather you going to be that misery or you're going to need to find some new company.
Or instead of finding a bag, you find boundaries. And people don't like that. When you find your boundaries and they used to cross them and you took it and now you got boundaries. Now you got like, I have some self-worth about myself. I respect myself and I got boundaries. So you can't try me like that no more. And a lot of people don't realize, but that's the therapy working. Some people think that means therapy isn't working, but that's where therapy might not be enough. When there's family members you have to cut off or friends you have to cut off or even a significant other. And
I felt like we had a therapist and our first therapist in Dallas. It was like when we were trying to figure this thing out, when God was pushing us like, God, are you serious? We got to do the therapy now? God, should we eject?
Yeah.
Like, the angels were coming with a choir. Like, come on.
If we guys are going regardless, you're going before the wedding. Maybe the wedding shouldn't happen.
But I felt like the guy was like everything I was saying. She was batting her eyes. He was like, "You're wrong. You're wrong about everything. You're just wrong." I was like, "Why was I always wrong? Like, really?
You were just wrong about everything."
I don't know. I mean, he's a good dude. I just felt like it just wasn't for me. We needed to date another therapist.
That's right.
That wasn't the right guy. That happens in some... I mean, what do you think about that experience?
I agree. I mean, of course, I loved it.
Right. Who doesn't love when you're right all the time? It's like, yeah, he's wrong. Being right all the time. He's wrong again. It's like...
Okay, but sometimes you was just wrong. But you know what? I do think that I was...
You're always wrong as a man. You're always wrong. You can never be right.
I was articulating things. I think at that point you weren't as comfortable with your feelings and like, see?
Feelings are fine. Feelings are okay.
Feelings are fine.
I found them.
And so I think sometimes that got in the way of like really expressing how you felt about me or a behavior or something we were going through.
Right.
And I came off looking like an angel that I am not.
Thank God for the second therapist in Atlanta that actually, she is so dope, guys. I can't rave about this woman so much. I can't put her name on here.
Because we still going.
But she's so dope because she helps you figure out sometimes the session might just be about me, my thoughts, where I'm going, business-wise, whatever, how I'm moving. Was it something from my past? Was it something from my childhood? And really, once you lift that, you feel so much better. I mean, you moving different, you talking different. I mean, your whole energy. You know what's so funny? I had some friends that had a relationship, and the dude was kind of like a beta male, and it was fine, and it was like, bro, what's going on? Like, you just funny, and And this was this guy in California. And I mean, and once he had a therapy, he was a whole new person. I was like, am I tripping?
Pause. It's okay to be a beta male.
It's not
everyone's goal is it to go from beta to alpha, gamma, whatever.
For
types.
him, he was
all the male types, but
I felt like he was overcompensated. He was a little guy, but he was a big guy with little guy syndrome. Yeah. He was extra. You know what I mean? It was you ain't gotta act like that, bro. You good. We accept you for who you are. But once that therapy, whatever that cloud came through, it was just a new person. I was like, oh my God, I can actually be this guy's friend and not have to worry about the macho. I mean, we damn near got in a fight over football. I was like, I don't want to fight. I don't even know rap. We fighting over rap? I don't want to fight you over rap. I don't even know it like that. I know it. I know the song. I don't know who the artists are. Like, why are we going there, bro? I mean, it's fun. It's like, and it's not the alpha beta. It's just like being who you are organically, you know, to move forward.
Or
but
just
that therapy
accepting yourself for who you are and leaning into that, right? Like, don't try to be someone else or live up to expectations that you don't need to be trying to meet. But I think therapy does help with that too. But to your point, I even think our therapy got better once our therapist realized she had the space to do faith-based therapy. Remember? It was like an epiphany.
She did. Yeah.
We brought up God and that we don't talk about that there. She was like,
you guys know the God.
Are y'all in the God club? You one of those? Can we turn it up? And we was like, turn it up. And that's when even our therapy went to the next level. And we started bringing the spiritual pieces into the therapy. So I do.
But we needed the tools and techniques.
That's
because you have to, like, even when you're, it's two worlds colliding, becoming one. So all the stuff that you used to do as a single or whatever, and your child, and you have to bring that together. And the way you rear your kids, you have to think about that and how that changes, how you guys have discussions. Is this normal for you? Like,
living together.
Right. Living together is everything. You can have a bad roommate. Like, I'm a little cleaner than Io. Io's pretty messy. Like, I'm
First of all,
and it's so annoying. It's like, why did you leave that there?
First of all,
don't leave it
I
there.
am not messy.
It's gonna build on what's next. It's like, why are we doing this? She's not messy.
Okay, let me tell you.
She's clean.
I am a clean person trapped inside a messy person's schedule. I am an overscheduled person. I always have something I need to do or I'm trying to get to. And then the cleaning is bumped to the end of the list to the point where maybe my laundry basket was covering the light.
The light.
He's like,
how high does it need to be to cover the light? What are we doing? It's like, just do a load, just one load and it's like 8 loads. And it's like, why are there 8 loads of clothes here? Just do one and start there. Just, the brick. One brick, enough bricks to make the house, but it's totally fine. But I had to realize, I have to do a little bit more because this is technically for me. It brings me peace. I just love a nice clean house. It smells good.
Me too.
Looks nice. And
I love it.
She loves it.
I love
not the doing
outcome
of the it.
Listen. I am a much cleaner person on the weekend, number one.
Mm-hmm.
I sweep and clean and do all things on the weekend when I don't have, and I'm a much cleaner person on vacation. So that just shows my inner clean wants to come out. So once I no longer am overscheduled or have to be a beholden to all these things, and I'm gonna be like Mrs. Clean.
But that was the dope thing about therapy. It's like it really opens you up to realize who you are and what's really important to you. It was important to me that I needed to have things certain in order. Like, it was so funny when I was in college, I needed to clean the room before I could study. I don't know why. It was weird. I was probably procrastinating, honestly. I always waited to the last minute. But it was it felt so much better to have things organized. It was like, and subconsciously, I think I was just organizing my mind through doing that. And I mean, that's the good thing about therapy and what it does. It helps you complete yourself. It helps you figure yourself out, because we do this stuff, but the problem is, why do we do it? Why do you do it?
Why do you do it? But I think one thing
most people don't want to know why. They just like, I want to do it. Don't ask me why.
That's
I don't know.
right. And another thing, even like
our kid asks us why all the time. Don't ask why. I told you twice.
He asked why about everything. My nephew had a why face. I think kids just go through that. But I think one thing God has put on my heart is to be able to understand him calling me messy. Like 5 years ago, I'd have had to shut this whole podcast down.
Right. She would have been throwing stuff, been closing. Why you calling me? Wait, hold on. I'm just saying you need a little tidier. And don't say tidy.
Don't say
tidy might be information. And she's from Florida,
right.
so you know they ratchet in Florida.
Little baby Florida would have came all the way out.
Please.
I know, but therapy and God impressing on my heart, like, it's okay. It's okay to be messy. Like, if you are messy, you just own it and do what you need to do. Like, and I think that's the piece that sometimes therapy helps you get to the tools to do that, and even us to communicate that better. But my inside now has peace.
Right.
That's what it is.
Thank God.
This
Lord. I manifested. I prayed on the peace.
Now I protect my peace. I prioritize my peace. I bring peace on my peace because God has brought that. That's the spiritual peace that I think peace, P-I-E-C-E.
Right.
That has brought the P-E-A-C-E, right? Like, that's the piece. Sometimes therapy is not enough for people who need that on their hearts to say, calm the ego down, calm the hurt down, turn up the vulnerability.
Turn the ratchet down.
He ain't never tell me to turn the ratchet down. He said, keep your mouth closed. So I ain't heard that ratchet message yet. She's still on the inside. But I don't bring her out. I just run her through my head. But and that's the piece I think sometimes therapy isn't enough. You have to have a stronger power to like submit to. Like, I literally one night I just remember just submitting, like, I need you to do it.
Just let it go. Just take the wheel. Take the whole. Just drive the car.
Take the whole car back to the cars. Take the car. Take the wheel. Take the Hemi. Whatever that is. The gas, oil. Just take it. Or this. Or this right here. Ain't gonna work.
And we're not saying that you don't need therapy. I definitely think.
Oh no.
I love therapy. If I had to stay in therapy for forever, I am totally okay. You do graduate from therapy and go to like a different stage of therapy. But
that's a good episode.
What?
Graduating from therapy? How do you know you're ready to graduate from therapy?
True.
Let's keep that.
I guess maybe, I don't know if you should necessarily graduate, but maybe just push it off like every 4 months or 6 months. Because
that's a good idea.
I mean, life is going to happen. Yes. It's how you deal with that. And even therapy isn't that something happened. It's just, or something is going on. Sometimes you just need to dig in and get some peace and some clarity about some things. Or even, like we had talked about understanding our love languages. Like, that's right. I love, what was it?
Gifts.
Right. Gifts, affection. She's like low on the totem pole of affection. It's like she just wants gifts. It's like
I don't even know. I like acts of service.
Right. Just do it. Just do all that.
Do it. That is hot. And honey, how you swept that thing and moved my laundry around to get us to that light switch. That's hot. But you're right. Like, and we found out a lot of stuff about did you know there's like conflict languages? Like
there are.
How you do conflict.
We did that one too.
We did.
I like, what is it? It's not.
You like apologies?
Apology. Can you please apologize? Like, if you don't apologize, it's like, did you mean to do it? Like, you just literally did something foul. Can you say sorry? Can you?
But
I'm not gonna do it next time. Okay. What about the sorry though? Is there a sorry? Are you even?
But for me, I want to hear that plan, honey. You can say sorry, but how we gonna avoid that? So I would jump straight to the plan. Like, I ain't gonna do that anymore because guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do my laundry. I'm gonna do this and do this. And he's like, but you didn't say sorry. I'm like, well, that's clear. Don't you see how I paused like and acted all humble like? Right. And he'd be like, let's hear it. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry.
I ate your last piece of cheesecake and I didn't tell you and didn't say sorry. I wasn't sorry at all. At least it feels good to get the sorry. Can I get that?
But sometimes I ain't sorry. Sorry, I mean.
Yo, special shout out to my cousin has a company. It's called Crack Pies. Yo, these are fire. Yes. They sell out everywhere. It's a cheesecake. It's a sweet potato cheesecake. And she's got a ton of different flavors. And these things are fire.
They are fire.
Yo, no cap. Me and my dad, we ordered about $110
$120 worth of pies.
It was Thanksgiving. We felt people was coming up. We damn near we knocked down about 10 each. And they were little pies. Like, I'm gonna bring something for you guys for sure.
But anyway,
they were definitely fire. No, for real. They call them crack pies. They literally sell out everywhere. They're in Atlanta now.
They're pies, they're cheesecakes. It's got there's levels to it.
I mean, you hit one and you like, oh, what?
We're going way left. But the point
I gotta eat one when I get home. I ain't been able to eat
when we get home.
Crack pies. Y'all look them up.
The good thing is I tell him, if I say sorry, I am sorry. I don't say sorry just to calm you down or pacify. Like, that means I'm really sorry. So we had a conversation about that. It was like, what?
The problem is, how often do you get it, though? It's like you
better.
You hoping, you looking through the woods. Like, where is it? I'm like, I guess she's not sorry this week. She just literally just did that. It's just, okay. And then if you say, look, especially this is the bad thing. If you're a guy, you're like, you know what? This is how I feel. It's like you have to have a strong person who is not going to jump on those feelings. That's what's so hard. It's like, and, you know, she might whoop you. Like, you know, you piece of S, you know what I mean? Like, you soft. Like, you wanted me to use my feelings, and now I'm using my feelings. You over here jumping on all the feelings. Like, what are we doing?
But that's where therapy helps you, because it communicates those feelings appropriately, so that, like, I'm not offended by the delivery of your feelings. Because sometimes I'm okay with your feelings, but I don't like how you told me that.
Honestly, guys, no cap. When you use feelings, if you use it right, then it actually changes the trajectory of the conversation. The whole point is that the other person can hear what you're saying, and they can actually hear, because they like, it hit different to the other person when you say, oh, it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It's made me, it actually makes you think a certain way. So what do you think?
No, I agree. But I think at the end of the day, what made you feel vulnerable enough to start talking about feelings? Was that you just learning and understanding the tools, or was that, like, did you have, kind of like I had, like, a spiritual awakening of growth and peace within yourself that brought something different?
I think I had to learn how to flex the muscle. I was using it the wrong way. I'm saying what you did and what you got on my nerves and this. It's like, no, you're not talking about your feelings. You're just talking about a fact of something that you had that happened. And I'm gonna keep it 100. Men and women, they don't always see things the same way and be in the same scene. But when you use your feelings, it's definitely different. So I think, honestly, learning how to flex that muscle and being comfortable with that is what changed the game. I mean, it makes it relatable. I mean, the person can, especially, you know, for IO, it helped me understand. And because honestly, it's like you can say all this stuff, it doesn't matter if it's not going in. Like, because then it's like, it's trap music is what the other person's hearing. It's like, what? And it's like, look, I'm trying to have a conversation. They ain't heard nothing. And you say, you know what? This is how I feel.
No, if you buck.
And then they hear what you're saying. They hear what you're saying.
Turn down the volume on Nuck If You Buck and actually hear. So, okay. Lastly, how do you integrate the two? Because I think some people think, like, okay, I can only go to my pastor for therapy or counseling. Like, it has to be all spiritual. And then some people are like, I don't even know how to blend, like, my therapy and bringing spiritual aspects into my therapy. Like, how do you integrate those? Like, what does that look like?
Quick story. So a friend of mine he went to marriage counseling with the pastor, which is great, and you need to, but they needed something a little deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works, but it doesn't. I mean, when you need real therapy, it's just different. You know, it's more guidance and spiritual leadership, and you know, it helps you guys connect on certain levels, but also on the other hand, it's the techniques. So.
Right. It's the tools. So maybe the spiritual pastor counseling and therapy wasn't bringing forth a lot of those tools they needed to, like, communicate and understand each other and be able to grow in their styles of communication or even their relationship.
Because we were reading the Bible today and it was still going down.
It's like, why is it going down? The Bible don't stop you
going down
from being human, right? We are not God. We are human. Like, we are human forms of God. So we're still gonna get angry or get upset or, you know, sin, right? Like, we are all just sinners trying to do better. We're just little sinners out here sinning and just trying to do our best. So I think that's the piece. Like, there's always progress you can make as a person and as a human.
But honestly, learning those techniques is what I felt like that's what made the big difference.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And if you're in spiritual counseling, maybe you tell your pastor, whoever that you do want to go deeper. It's like us with the traditional therapy. We had to tell her we wanted to bring in spiritual elements and talk about God and the power and that in our therapy. So I think don't be afraid to integrate the two. And if that person isn't adept in both, then maybe that's when you find someone else or do too, or, supplement. You got to find what you need. You got to make sure God is meeting your therapy and you're aligning that, because it's important. You have to take control of your life.
Yeah,
and I
you
think that's it. That's what we talk about all the time. Like, your superhero is not coming out if you don't take control. Life isn't happening to you. You are making your life happen. I just went on soapbox, but I just got a little inspired.
So it says, I'm going to bring some facts in here. So 84% of therapists report that clients bring up spiritual concerns, but only 36% of therapists are trained to address it. So
that part,
that's kind of where you need your, you might need to have both.
That's right.
You like, look, I need the Lord, but I also need therapy.
That's
and the
right.
therapist can't talk to you about God because
they're not
a trained thing.
That you're looking for a unicorn, but they're out there, and you might just have to find it or search or do due diligence. It's kind of like, going to, an integrative medicine specialist. Like, you want someone who's going to prescribe you a nutrition and diet instead of starting with medicines and stuff. So, these people are out there, and you just have to be empowered and take that aligned action, right? That's where you get your mind right. You understand the habits you need and take that action.
But honestly, guys, we have to let's bring this back around. Is therapy enough? Do you think it's enough? Do you think you need both? I feel like you need God and therapy to be the superhuman that you need to be, to accomplish what you need, to grow, to get the balance that you need, to stay focused, to accomplish the things that you want to. You need the techniques. You need the God in your life. You need to be spiritually balanced. You need to be able to manifest. You need all the things.
You need all the things.
You need a tool basket.
I think therapy's a good start, right? And a lot of people are scared to start therapy or don't think it works or have these preconceived notions. So just get in there and figure it out.
Because God just ain't going. You can't just do the God part.
You can't just do the God part.
You can't just do the God part.
Can't just do the God part.
And I hate when they say, "Oh, let me pray it away." God gonna work it out. God is going, but the faith without the works is dead. The therapy might be the works. People
is dead. So you got to do something. Listen, we could talk about this all day,
guys. We got to wrap this up.
That's right. What y'all think? Drop a comment. What y'all think? Is therapy enough? Is God enough?
Do you think we should exit out of therapy, or do you think God is just all that you need? Like, let us know in the comments. We got to figure it out, or is it too much, God?
Help us out. All right.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us. God meets therapy.
See you next time.
Yes, sir.